I'm bringing you Shelf to Chef, a great new program here at Mentor Public Library where you can check out not only a cookbook, but the baking or cooking pans to go with it. And we're not going to leave you alone in the kitchen. You get me, Chef Stephanie Paganini, doing the recipes along with you. You ready to get started? Let's go. I think one of the most underrated baking gifts in the kitchen are muffins. People love muffins, and you giving people muffins makes them love you. Don't think this is flawed at all. So what I want to do is show you a way that you can create muffin-like recipes, but do them in kind of a fancier kitchen way. So to start with, we have something called little cake pans, right? They look like little meatloaf tins or little Quickbread tins, and that is exactly what we're making today. We're making a Quickbread. Why are certain recipes called Quickbreads? Well, Quickbreads are called Quickbreads because of two reasons. One, they are quick to mix. Takes no time to put them together, and they are quick to bake. So today we're going to be making a Quickbread. Quickbreads can be made in muffin form or in bread form. So today's recipe is going to be a carrot cake muffin that we're going to make in bread form. To start out with, you need to understand the Quickbread mixing method. You have a bowl you're going to put your wet ingredients into. You have a bowl you're going to put your dry ingredients into. Then you're going to take the wet ingredients and you're going to mix them into the dry ingredients. So let's get started. In our wet bowl, we are putting 2 room temperature eggs. If you are making this and you think, oh, I didn't have time to leave my eggs out, you can get a bowl of warm sink water. Don't make it hot. You don't want to boil your eggs, but you do want them to sit in a bowl of warm water, and that will bring them up to room temperature very quickly. Shell on, of course. Leave them in the bowl for about 5 minutes, and then you can crack them and have a nice room temperature egg without worrying about leaving them out for a long time. In my bowl is going vegetable oil as well. I'm Italian, so I use olive oil. You can use your standard canola, whatever oil you have at home that's a vegetable oil. But if you have the ability to use olive oil, oh, does it intensify the flavor and make such a rich dish for you. Then we are going to mix these 2 ingredients together, and this is our wet. I will sometimes add my sugar to the wet, sometimes add it to the dry. So in this bowl, we are whisking together our wet eggs and our wet oil. I wanted to show you this. I probably should have showed it to you before I had raw egg dripping down off of it. But in today's episode of Cool Gadgets that Stephanie collects, we have this whisk, which is called a flat whisk, which is so great for mixing things where you have to break it up, but you don't want to incorporate air. Because a balloon whisk, called a balloon whisk because it looks like a hot air balloon, is exactly that. It whisks while incorporating air into the dish that you're mixing. So if you see one of these at a thrift store or at the back of a home goods store, catch it because it's a great kitchen tool to have in your kitchen. But if you don't have it, no worries. All right, so our egg is mixed together. We are now going to mix together our dry ingredients. And for those, we have brown sugar, which is white sugar with molasses mixed back into it. And it's what gives us kind of a nice caramely flavor. That's that base note of that baking Quickbread. We have our granulated white sugar. We're adding both baking soda and baking powder to this recipe. Baking soda gives that initial quick lift, and baking powder comes in as the second line of lifting throughout the baking process. If you want a little more information about the science behind the difference of these two, check out my Shelf to Chef Madeleine Pan recipe. And we are going to add just a smidge of salt. Salt in a sweet dish amplifies the flavor. This recipe in the cookbook that comes with this kit calls for ginger and cinnamon and clove. And if you go to the supermarket, you can buy each of those ground spices and measure them and put them in. But if you are looking for a way to find a little more budget friendliness in your kitchen, I recommend checking out those spice blends that are often right there alongside the individual spices. So for today's purposes, instead of putting all of those individual spices, I put about 2.5 teaspoons of a pumpkin pie spice blend. This has clove, cinnamon, ginger, and allspice already in it, so I'm not having to measure those out individually, and I'm still getting all of those wonderful flavors in my Quickbread. All right, so I have all my dry ingredients together. I'm going to mix these together. And the reason we do this is so that our gluten in this recipe doesn't develop, because once we add the wetness or the moisture to the all-purpose flour in here, we're going to start developing gluten. By mixing the dry goods first, we get a good distribution of all those ingredients without starting that gluten development. All right, now in here goes the wet. So we're adding our oil, we're adding our egg, and we're going to mix these together. I am following the recipe from the book a little closely, so I'm not adding any nuts. I am not adding any raisins or sultanas, which is just a fancy term for golden raisins. The recipe in the book also calls for triple sec, which I am not doing, but feel free. All right, we have this wonderful batter going, and now we're going to fold in 2 cups of shredded carrots. Because we were worried that you would be trying to shred carrots without any tools, we are providing in this kit your shredder. So you can shred your carrots on here. It's a great tip for if you have children helping you in the kitchen. Peel the carrots for them and then hand them the carrots, and they can shred 2 cups worth. And they can eat the ends. All right, so to this batter we are going to add our carrots. So as I'm mixing this, I'm feeling unhappy with the thickness of this batter. I find sometimes we chefs have our own ways of doing things, and following someone else's recipe, sometimes we want to tweak it. So I know if I try and put this into my cake pans, this is not going to turn out the way I want it to. So I'm going to adjust this recipe. I'm giving you the freedom to do it as well, carefully. You don't want to go crazy or you're going to upset the ratio of things. But it feels to me like this is a little thick for what I'm going for. So I'm going to add just a little bit of, this is whole milk that I happen to have in the fridge from a different recipe. And I'm going to add a little bit to it. The milk has fat in it, which is going to help offset the extra liquid that I'm adding. And it's just going to give me a little bit of a thinner batter. It's going to make it allow me to scoop it a little better, and I'll just have to keep an eye on it when it's baking. It might take a little longer to bake in the oven because it's going in wetter than the recipe was written for. But I suspect whoever wrote this recipe wanted it to look like a quick bread mixture, and so maybe there was a mismeasurement on my part. Who knows? All right, that makes me happier. You also in the kitchen grow in confidence the more that you do things. So if you look at this and you say, that doesn't look like a muffin batter, then feel free to make those adjustments yourself. All right, so here we go. We are going to put it into our pan. When we do this, we want to use an ice cream scoop. You can certainly use like a 1/2 cup measurement cup if you don't have an ice cream scoop, but the ice cream scoop makes it easy for me to get the batter in there in a relatively clean way. I want to fill it about 2/3 of the way full for each one. I'm scooping it in, I'm letting it settle, and then I'll go back and fill more as I see fit. All right, so we have our pan filled, and we are going to put this in a 350-degree oven. We're going to check it every 10 to 15 minutes with a toothpick through the center to make sure it comes out clean, and then when it does, we can unpan it. The recipe in the cookbook calls for a brown butter cream cheese frosting. Yum. We're not doing that today. We're just going to coat it with a little powdered sugar, but you feel free to make that frosting because I think whoever you're making this for will love you even more. Into the oven it goes. So we are going to check our quick breads in the oven here. You can see how they have puffed up and made this cute little loaf. You can use a toothpick, or I'm using a paring knife. Just drop down the center for it to come out clean, and we know that they're ready. We're going to take them out, cool them, and we'll dust ours with a little powdered sugar once they've cooled a little. So we've taken our quick bread, our carrot cake, carrot muffin, quick bread, out of the oven. We've allowed it to cool a little bit. And I've taken one of these beautiful little mini loaves. I've put it on a plate and I'm going to just hit it with a little powdered sugar. Now, it is not the sweetest of recipes, so if you really want to maximize the sweetness of this quick bread, then I recommend going for that brown butter cream cheese frosting that the original recipe called for. Or you can always put maybe a little bit more brown sugar into the recipe if you want to sweeten it, but keep it simply decorated. This in a little cellophane bag to your neighbor, your bus driver, your best friend will buy you food love for years. Enjoy.